session. I am so incredibly excited to have this session because it's one of our first for one particular kind. And it's something that's really special for me, something that I and Team Yorkit has actually planned for a very, very long time now. And I think this is also going live on YouTube. So hi, everybody from YouTube who are joining us right now. And today's session obviously is going to be exceptionally important for all of us, since it's the first time that we are going to have a panel interview. It's not an interview essentially, but it's the very first time that we're going to have a couple of students with us, people who have gotten into the best universities abroad. We are going to be talking with them and understanding their journey. How did they do it? And also, since I realized that a lot of students actually are looking for answers, most students are looking for perspectives and seniors to help them. We started this series from the motive that we want to have as many students get help by us, and we want to help as many students through us, through the platform. So we will be having Anik with us, and we will be having a student, Subhadra. I'm going to introduce them really shortly. But for everybody here, I want to say a big welcome to this one-of-a-kind session. You will rarely find it anywhere. And we are so excited and we are so proud of our series. So hi, everyone. I will be a host for today. My name is Morvi, and I am also a fall 2023. I used to be an aspirant, now I'm an admitted student. So whatever discussion we'll be having today is also going to come in a little from my perspective, both being in the industry for quite some time and also going through the entire process myself. So I'm actually going to call both of our guests for today, but before I do that, let me introduce both of our guests for today and have them here, and we're going to start chatting with them. In the meanwhile, let me also inform all of you guys, if you have any questions, anybody who's watching here from Zoom or YouTube or any other live stream platform that we're going live right now, you can drop in your questions that will have for Anik and Subhadra eventually, and I will make sure that your questions are reaching both of them. So let me introduce our guest for today. We have with us Anik and we have with us Subhadra. So I was talking to them earlier in the day, and they have an amazing profile, both of them. And both of them are going for best universities in the US. Anik is going for University of Rochester, has finalized that and also received a scholarship of $24,000. And we have Subhadra here, who applied to top universities in US and has finalized essentially Cornell. So we are going to be having a long discussion and a great chat with them. So Anik and Subhadra, I would like to invite you formally here for this session.
Hey everyone, myself Anik. As she mentioned, I have admitted into Rochester in this fall 23. Currently, I'm working as a software developer in Siemens Healthcare Limited, and I passed out in 2022 with a specialization in computer science.
Awesome, great. And we also have Subhadra with us. So Subhadra, and also Anik for that matter, if you guys can just quickly turn on your cameras and we can see you and we can chat with you. So hi Subhadra, welcome to the session.
Hello, and thank you very much for inviting me. So I am Subhadra Zamkar. I hail from Maharashtra, but I currently reside in Telangana. I pursued my bachelor's in technology in chemical engineering from Indian Institute of Petroleum and Energy, Visakhapatnam. And I'll be going to Cornell for MS in chemical engineering. And I recently graduated in May 2023.
That's great. So right off the bat, let me actually congratulate you both for your amazing journey. Let me, give you a big congratulations both to Anik and Subhadra. University of Rochester with a scholarship. We have Subhadra here going to Cornell, an Ivy League school, some of the best institutes in US, right? For the course that both of you are going to be going for. So I'm going to start with one question. And my question, I always start with this question. When did you decide that you want to study or you want to go abroad and, pursue your higher education in a country like US? Because I'm familiar from the fact that a lot of times when students complete their undergrad from India, especially in a tech background, they seem to work a little, get an MBA, but you definitely took a different route. So when did that happen? When did that motivation come in? We'll start with Subhadra and then we'll move on to you, Anik.
To be honest, I was completely sure that I'll be going for master's in the first year of my bachelor's itself. and it was complete, like finalized in third year. Like during third year, I was, looking at, should I go for an MBA? Should I go for, a work ex before going for MBA, or should I, just continue into masters? But then, my parents were quite supportive and I was quite, determined, like, let's just continue into masters. So by the end of third year, I was completely, sure that I'm going to go for masters and I'll start applying.
That's great. That's great. I mean, starting early and having that amount of clarity early on really helps, definitely. What about you, Anik? When did studying abroad come on the cards for you? Was your story similar to Subhadra, where you were dead sure that you're going to go abroad, or was it any different?
My case was a little different. I did not knew about masters and everything. I just went for my bachelor's in SRM. So I was always a techie type of guy. So used to be in coding and stuff. And then I came across this research group who specialized in autonomous systems and all. So I started working there as a research junior, and then I went on to publish papers, and from there I got this keen feeling that I can be into research and I don't want to be in a company. Okay, so then I talked with my seniors, and they also suggested that yeah, you should go for MS then PhD. Then I planned like, okay, I'll go, but then it felt like a right time for me. Honestly, after working for 1 year in a tech company, so I felt this is the right time. So let's move on to my MS journey.
Great. So I hope that you guys are inspired. I hope you guys are as inspired by them as I am, because obviously amazing admits, amazing profile. Actually, that is one of the questions that I've recently got here in my chat box. Also, guys, if you are not able to access the chat, please put in your questions in the Q&A box, and I will make sure that your questions reach both Anik and Subhadra. So one of the questions that I got was, hi Anik, hi Subhadra. Could you please tell us a little about your profile? So this question goes for both Anik and Subhadra. So could you tell us a little about what your profile was, including some great things that I'm sure you guys must have done, be it research or project, and including your test scores also. I think they want to know any. So Subhadra, we might want to start with you.
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, I did my BTech in chemical engineering from IIB Visakhapatnam. So after 8 semesters, my CGPA is 9.32 on a scale of 10. And while I was applying, my CGPA was 9.11 on a scale of 10. So which is like the 6 semesters, for 6 semesters. And my GRE score was 314 out of 340. But I did not really use this score because most of, like, all the universities I applied to waived off GRE, or they did not need GRE. And I gave TOEFL and I got 114 out of 120. And, I applied to Cornell, Georgia Tech, Purdue, Northeastern, MIT, UT Austin, Texas A&M at College Station, and UCLA. And I got admits from Cornell, Georgia Tech, Purdue, Northeastern. Also, I applied to Cambridge, like one university in the UK, and I got an admit from there as well. And so I worked on 2 papers, review and research papers during my bachelor's. So they'll be published soon. And currently I'm working on a book chapter, and all the 3 of them are first author publications. So that was a gist of my profile.
Okay, I have a lot to, I'm just going to secretly also make a lot of notes, because research and a little bit of publication is definitely something that I see myself. So I'm just going to silently take some notes regarding that also. Moving on to Anik. So Anik, what was your profile like? And was there any research or project that actually helped you with your application process?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I did my bachelor's in computer science from SRM. My CGPA was around 8.99 at the end of the 8th semester. Apart from that, I was in the research team for 4 years, and also we got an opportunity to go in US and present that to AUVSI, and we were the only team from India, from Asia for the matter. So that was there. That was one point, and I continued in this research team for around 4 years. So we published a lot of papers and we did a lot of projects. Apart from that, I did 8 personal projects. Okay, 4 with my roommate and 4 alone myself. All of those were associated with AI or data science or IoT. Apart from that, we also created this autonomous system where I got the knowledge of control systems, OS, and other types of embedded related queries. I did that. And I published 3 papers on AI IoT as a first author. So that was my profile.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I mean, talking to both of you, I think you had definitely some of the best profiles that I have seen, because I have been talking to a lot of students and a really amazing profile. So congratulations, guys, and congratulations to both of you actually for getting into some of the best universities. I'm sure that a lot of people who are sitting here must be dreaming for universities like Rochester and Cornell and Cambridge. So congratulations, and I wish you all the very best for your, journey also. So let me kind of backtrack a little bit. Okay. Let me backtrack a little bit. What was we're talking so much about, you've reached there, but what was the hard work like? Because right now we are focusing so much, let's say for Subhadra, it's Cornell, and for Anik, it's Rochester with a scholarship. So what was your application process like, and how much hard work did you put into your application process? I'm assuming it's going to be a lot, but right from the day you started selecting the course and country down to getting your admit. So what was that entire process like for you? So Subhadra, you may start.
So as I mentioned earlier, like I decided by the end of third year that I'm going to go for masters. So the most important decision you have to take before applying is which course you want to go to. Like, do you want to continue in your bachelor's subject or something related to bachelor's, or you want to shift, like completely, shift to a different course? So that is the major thing you have to do. Like, you have to decide on before you start to apply and shortlist universities. So once I had decided, like, I have to continue in chemical engineering. So I went through like almost all the universities, like top 50 universities. I read the profile of the department. I went through what all research is going on. Then I also connected with some of my seniors who are currently studying in some like top universities in the US, and they have also helped me a lot in the procedure. And yes, as the standard procedure is give GRE, give TOEFL or IELTS. I gave that, and then I began, my final shortlisting. Like by August, I had my scores. Like by September, I had my scores, and I began my final shortlisting. So I started with 20 universities. Out of the top 50, I looked at first 20 of them, and then I finalized the 8 which I was going to apply to. So that took a lot of time, because you have to do a lot of research, and you must make sure that whatever research is going on there, whatever coursework is like going on in those universities aligned to our interest. You just don't blindly apply, which is very important. You should remember that, because it's your future and you have to be very precise about selecting universities. And then I guess like completely my whole 7th semester was, like completely filled with applications, SOPs, LORs and everything. Yeah. And during the time I was also working on, strengthening my profile, maintaining my CGPA and stuff. Like everything was there was a lot of things were going on, but somehow things worked well. And yeah, by November, I had almost submitted all of the applications, and some of them were like rolling decisions, because some of them like you apply like as early as possible and they give you admits as early as possible. So Purdue, I applied in October itself, and I got a decision in December. Like the second week of December, I had my admit from Purdue. Yeah, and by like one by one, the admits started coming. In February, most of the decisions were there, and some in March. So this is what my journey was.
There are so many things that I've actually picked up from there, and I'm going to ask you in a moment. But let's also ask Anik, how was your application journey? Because this is so interesting. That application journey for every single person is going to be unique and different. Some people give their GRE before shortlisting universities. Some people give it after shortlisting universities. So Anik, what was your application process? And let me ask, or let me put on another layer for you, Anik. What was the most difficult challenge, or what was the most difficult part of your entire application process?
Actually, it was very spontaneous of me to think that I'll be going for this fall 23. And I decided at a time when all of the universities' first deadline went away. So by that time, I had no shortlist. I don't even know what's the process or application process, whatever is required. I had no idea. So there were some of my friends and also my seniors who knew and who were already applying. So they knew that I had to go write a SOP, then rewrite my CV in a proper manner. Then I have to assemble all my mark sheets, all my certificates, and everything. But the hardest part, for me, it was to write the SOP, because SOP is such an important thing in your application that obviously in each top universities there are a lot of applicants that come in, and the committee which are reviewing your applications are also limited, so they won't go through your whole SOP. So you need to create your SOP in such a way that after reading for the first paragraph they get hooked, and they want to know that how and why you want to pursue this course in this particular university. So for me to write the SOP in this like 2-3 months was very difficult, because I'm a working professional as well. So I work from 8 to 7 every day. Then I come back, I rest for a bit, and then I start working on all this thing. So it became quite stressful for me last 6 months, honestly. But yeah, whatever you do, guys, may be sure to create your SOP in such a way that it's very good, because it's going to help you a long way. So that was my journey for last 6 months.
Yes, I can totally agree with the fact that SOP definitely holds so much value and you have to put in so much effort, which actually brings me to the next question that I've just got here. So we've gotten a question from an anonymous attendee who asked that what should we be putting in our SOP? How should we structure it? And is there a format for SOP? So Subhadra, would you like to help us understand, is there any format for SOP and what did you put? And let me add another question to that. What did you avoid in your SOP? And Anik, that question is also going to come to you, since you guys come from similar backgrounds, but definitely very different. So I'm going to ask this question to both of you. What did you put in your SOP? And what did you just avoid putting in your SOP?
Yeah, so basically the SOP should answer the question, why are you applying to this course? So the whole SOP should be structured around that. So you should start with, why do you like this particular field? Like that is what I use during structuring my SOP. So the first thing first is you should write a paragraph on why you like this course and what do you want to do with it in the coming future, after you complete your masters. And next you should discuss a bit about your bachelor's, like what you studied in your bachelor's and what sort of projects you did. And then you should connect it to what your master's degree is about, like how relevant your projects or your research papers or whatever experience you had during your bachelor's was relevant to your master's. So that is the second, third, 2-3 paragraphs. And then comes the most important paragraph, like why are you applying to this particular university and why this course in this university. So what Yorkit people call it the university specific paragraph. So this paragraph holds the utmost importance in your SOP, because that is how you connect to the reader, who is basically a professor or some person in the admissions committee from that university. So here you should talk about what you liked about this university, basically what sort of research and what courses you like here. And then I would suggest everybody to include some research about research which is going on, what you liked, and mention some professors also. Mentioning professors whose research aligns with your interest is very, very important. And that is what, adds a lot of strength to your SOP. So discuss about this in one of the paragraphs. Then the next paragraph is how ready you are for master's or PhD, whatever you're applying to. In that you should discuss your strengths, your talents or something, like you're a team leader or you're a very much goal-oriented person or something like that in one short paragraph, to make sure that you will, give something to the university as well. You will be useful to the university. So that way you should conclude, come to the conclusion. And in the end, you should, add some future goals, and you should end, I usually end my SOP with, I will add a lot of value to your class, and like enrolling me into this course will be very much beneficial to the department as well, or something in the lines of that. So these like 5-6 points you should remember while writing the SOP. And what you should avoid is bluffing. Do not bluff. Be as true as possible and try to keep the SOP as much as possible in your own words. Because those people, like the admissions committee, will definitely find out, a chat GPT generated SOP or somebody else who has helped you writing it. So keep it as original as possible.
Wonderfully put and greatly said, which is so true that, try guys. I've seen a lot of people who feel that, we just copy some SOP from Google. We have thousands of templates available on Google, and we have our relatives or friends who are living in the US who've gotten into a university, and we'll just copy from them. So, Ani, what is your thought on copying SOP? What is your view on? First, we're going to talk about your SOP, definitely. And as Subhadra mentioned, I'm actually going to pick up from there. What is going to be your thought on copying SOP or writing it from ChatGPT? Now we have this boon of ChatGPT. So what is your view of this?
Well, as she mentioned everything in a very good way, but like my view is you should not copy SOP because SOP is someone else's story. Yes, you should understand that because whatever you will mention in your SOP will be similar to your resume, but you can elaborate it in your way, the way you have experienced it. Okay, they don't want you to be extraordinary, like you have powers or something. No. Small incident can make a SOP from good to very good. So those points you need to put in. All these paragraphs need to come in a flow, like you're telling a story. From here I started, this was my journey. From here I got this interest. Now how are you going to pursue that interest? You this projects, I worked under this professor. Now how do you come out of this and taking this particular course? Now I want to move into this, or I want to continue here because I have done this, and so on. Like there should be a flow. It should not feel like, okay, he has done this and he's just mentioning it like that. So that is one thing. So and if this is the case, then you can't copy someone else's SOP because everyone has their own story to tell. So that's what my view is.
Great. That is correct. That's definitely. And you both have put it so beautifully. I mean, if somebody asks me about SOP, I just throw in a random couple of words. But you guys have actually put it so beautifully that it's your story and it's giving you, I consider this as, an opportunity for you to actually give your interview on paper. So it's a great opportunity for anybody who's applying to top universities like Subhadra and Anik. You have to make sure that, your SOP is top notch, not copied from anywhere. So let me ask this question to Subhadra first. That what was the guideline? So you are a Yocket Premium member. I want to actually understand how did that go for you? And was there any help by your Yocket editors in terms of editing your documents like your SOP and LORs?
Yeah, so I feel Yocket Premium was very helpful to me during like entire application procedure, especially for writing SOPs, because they provide you with point-to-point guidelines, and those guidelines are quite detailed. So for like every paragraph, they will mention what all points should be included, what all points should not be included, and how you structure it. And especially the editors are very good. So they know what they're doing, and they will definitely, like, you write your own draft first, and then they will give you some suggestions to make some changes or add some things. So basically the editors have been very helpful in, structuring the SOP in a very good way. And the end product was very satisfactory.
Awesome. Great. So what about you, Anik? Was there, and how much did you, Anik, this question is for you. So how much help did you get from your editors? Because we have talked about SOP. So we've talked about SOP, Anik. Let's also touch a little on LORs, right? So what did you put in your LORs, and how much help did you receive from your Yocket editors for your LORs?
Actually, by the time I was already said I was late. So at the time I joined in Yocket Premium, I already had my LORs signed for me. So it was given by my professor because I used to work with them. So they have written their own SOP as center. So other than that, for my SOPs and other documents, editors helped me a lot because I used to make one draft and used to send them and used to go to work. And then I used to come back and used to see all those changes have been made along with the comments that why it is not right for this particular point. Okay, so that used to help me a lot understand to make my SOP write even better. So like this one draft, there will be 3 drafts that you can submit and they will edit it for you. So after third draft, it gets almost finalized. It will be finalized for sure. So that helped me a lot. So like that, I got my documents finalized, reviewed and everything. I used to work like this only. So it used to save my time a lot. It saved my time a lot. And also in shortlisting universities also. So like I had this list and this curriculums and they had my profile. So they could like give me the particular universities that is good for me or I should look into. And then I went into the curriculum and it perfectly suited me. So I felt it was a great help to Yocket Premium for those particular things, because that those things are the most important things that you need to work on to make your profile good to best. So this small things helps a lot. And thanks again, Team Yocket, for getting me a very good admit.
That's I'm so grateful and I'm so happy for the fact, because it always warms my heart to see students like both of you, who have, and even me. I mean, once I started, Anik, exactly like you, I was exceptionally late. So all my editors were kind of rushing me, and something that you pointed out was so great, that your editors will actually give you the reason why they're editing it and why they feel that you should, mold this, which actually makes you very self-reliant, not only for your SOP, but for all the other documents. So that is an amazing point both of you actually have brought up. So I wanted to make this session a little bit extra special for all the people who are attending today, be it on Zoom or be it on our platform. So I wanted to make this extra special for everybody. Since Anik and Subhadra are here, and this is one of our first sessions that we have a panel to discuss with, and I'm already getting so many questions from a very active audience. So I wanted to make this special by giving you guys a chance to talk to a counselor today. Right, so I've pasted a link in the chat box. It's a form. It's going to ask you a couple of questions about your intake, course, country, as well as a time that's suitable for you to talk to a counselor. And it will be a one-on-one video call. Now, I'm sure that Anik and Subhadra, once you came into Yocket, you must have had a call with one of our counselors and, had a long chat. So this is what you guys are going to get. It's going to be a one-on-one profile consultation call where your counselors are actually going to tell you everything about university shortlisting, about scholarship options. How can you get scholarship? What things do you need to do differently on your profile? Down to also SOP and LOR. What are some things that based on your profile you should be putting on your SOP and things that you shouldn't be putting on your SOP? And let me tell you, some of our counselors here, most of our counselors actually do prophecy. When I came in and I told them that I do not have any hope of getting in any university, they actually told me point by point that these are the things that we need to work on. So all of the people who want to talk to a counselor, this is only for the attendees of this particular session. I wanted to make it very special. So please go ahead and, fill in the link, fill in the form, and I'll be repeating this information since people are filtering in and out of the session. So the link is in the chat box for everyone to talk to a counselor. So let me move on to some of the questions. Okay, so I've gotten the first question here by Tarun. I think, Anik, this is going to be for you. What was a differentiator for your application that helped you in getting the scholarship?
Well, I think my research was quite in line with what their master's course is all about. So maybe after 4 years of research and so many research papers, I've already attached them. So maybe with that, I got this amount of scholarship.
Great. Next question we have from Venkat for, I think, Subhadra, you can help us understand that. And I think both Anik and Subhadra can help us understand this question. That does it make a difference if I apply to universities in November or December instead of October?
So basically it depends on the deadlines. Like some universities have it in December, some universities have it in January, like next year, January. So like it depends on the type of admissions they have. Some of them have rolling admissions and some of them have the like regular admissions. So in case of rolling applications, you apply as soon as possible, you'll get the admit as soon as possible. So that is one thing you should remember before submitting your application. You should cross check that with the university. Regular admissions are like you can apply anytime till the deadline and they'll give you the decision only after a particular time, like after February or in March. So it completely depends on what university you're going to. Like it doesn't really matter because early decisions and all that is only there for bachelors. Masters, I don't think that is applied.
Got it. Awesome. So we have a question by Gyara here. And Gyara is asking specifically for pharmacy, but I'm going to ask this question to both Anik and Subhadra. Anik, we can start with you. That what is a good number of universities that we should be applying to? I think I got this question also here in my chat box, that what is a good number of universities? Should we apply to 20 or should we apply to 3? So what was your process? So Anik, maybe we can hear your perspective. And then Subhadra, we've heard that, Subhadra kind of shortened down from 50 to 20 and then applied to some universities. So Anik, what about you?
Well, I already had some of the universities in my mind, and I've already checked what's their baseline, like normal edit, average admit, what's their profile like, and I have sat and understood my profile whether it matches it or not. So you have to do the same thing, and obviously you need to shortlist your universities in such a way it should be safe, target, and ambitious. So keep less in ambitious, a little more in target, and a little less in safe, because if you apply there you will get the admit. So you should always keep more universities in target and little more in ambitious and less in safe, in my opinion. In my case it was a little different because all of my universities were almost ambitious, and already I got an offer from Rochester, so I did not apply for the rest, target and safe. So it was difficult for me to say how many universities you should apply.
Got it. What about you, Subhadra? Do you have an ideal number? Because I know some people do have an ideal number that, strictly I'm going to apply for here, because you applied to 2 countries also. So did you bifurcate on that? Did you apply to any more universities in the UK than you did in the US? I'm sure that you must have applied to more universities in the US. So what was your bifurcation like?
So applying to the UK university came in very much in the end, like after all the universities in US applications were done. So I don't think there is an ideal number of applications. It is quite subjective because for me the ideal number was 7 or 8, and most of them were ambitious because Ivy League and MIT are quite ambitious for everybody. And so I think it is completely subjective. I cannot say that you should apply to these many only, but make sure you apply at least to 3 universities that you are sure shot of getting into. And outside, applying to a different country completely depends on what your interest is. See, because the research going on in Cambridge was quite relevant to what I am looking at, so I applied there. And all the universities in the US as well aligned perfectly with my research interest. So that is how you decide, because you decide according to what you like. The number also depends on you.
Definitely. I mean, this is something that's really important because we are hearing so much about your guys' experience. I think a lot of people will, I am not a supporter of somebody or something you should replicate, but definitely do it on your profile. So we've gotten a question here by Mijuru, who says, how do I begin my verbal reasoning measure preparation, or how do I just start preparation for GRE also in general, especially for verbal, since, verbal seems to be the more difficult section. So Subhadra or Anik, anybody can take this question up, and you can, throw both of your expertise. So we can start with Anik, maybe if you can help us understand if there's a trick that you applied for your standardized test, and then we can move on to Subhadra.
Oh, can you repeat the question? Actually, I got
Sure. Yeah. So we have Mijuru here who asked that, how should I start preparation for GRE's verbal section?
Okay, so you should start with synonyms, obviously, and you should go 30 words per day, 30 words, revise those 30 words, then again go for 30 more, like that until there is a number of 2000, I guess, but I did not do so much. So I prepared for around 1500, leaving antonyms and synonyms. So you should target 1 word, antonym, synonym. Like this, you should make a set of 10 words. So it makes 30. And you should go on building on that. After learning about 300 to 400 words, you will feel confident about that verbal section. You will be understand what the question is asking you, what the answer should be. So by that time, you will get confident and you will be get comfortable with the type of the questions they ask you. And obviously, practice makes a man better. So that's it.
For sure. Moving on to you, Subhadra. Any tips for all the GRE aspirants out here?
So basically working on your vocabulary is very important because GRE vocabulary is completely, like we are completely oblivious of most of the words which come up in the GRE. So I think what Anik said, you have to, do at least 30 words every day. So I actually started a bit late for my GRE preparation, but yeah, you have to make sure that you know almost all the most frequently occurring GRE words. So there is a book by Barron's. So like 800 high frequency GRE words. So most of the words you encounter in the final exam as well come from those 800 words. So you will be quite confident about, answering there are 3-4 types of questions, right? So if you understand the meaning of that word, then I guess answering the questions also becomes easy. So vocabulary is the toughest part in GRE because maths is like quite easy. It's like 10th level maths, so like most of us can do it. So building vocabulary is of utmost importance.
Definitely. And for Indians, I think statistically also speaking, maths have been always easy for Indian students who are appearing for GRE, and it's just the little difficulty with verbal, which is completely fine. So thank you so much for the tip. Okay, so let me actually ask you, this is going to be an individual question, which is obviously going to be a similar question rather. So if you guys could both encapsulate your entire journey of applying to universities abroad, right, in just maybe a word, or let me actually give you a whole sentence. So if you could encapsulate your whole journey of applying to universities abroad in a sentence, and then encapsulate your journey with Yorkit Premium in one sentence. So what would those 2 sentences be? So I'm going to put Anik on the spot first. So Bhadra, you might have some time to think about it. So Anik, I'm going to ask you first, just going to put you on the spot and you'll have to answer now.
My journey, if I put it in a word, it was thrilling. And for Yorkit team, it was excellent, marvelous, I would say. So that's 2 words on spot, I guess.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. So Bhadra, moving on to you. You can give us a sentence also.
So putting my journey with Yorkit in a sentence would be thank you so much for the help, because or else I would have been very confused. And like talking about my journey for applications, it has been hectic and it is still hectic because it does not end. It does not end until you land in the US.
Yes, 100%. It's not going to exactly as you said. I think a lot of people think that once you're passing your visa interview, which is obviously for US aspirants, it's going to be very, very hectic. It's going to be a big, I wouldn't say challenge, but it's a big milestone. But your journey actually starts from there on. So we're just going to take one last question for today. And guys, for all the people, we're just going to take one last question. And for all the people who are here, I'm just going to ask you guys again. You guys have final 3 minutes to actually fill in the form and talk to a counselor. I only have 2 more spots for 2 more people. So fill in the form. The first 2 people will actually get their slot. So, fill in the form. We have one last question by Rashi. What are the extracurricular activities that helped you? And what are some things, let me ask another, actually, top it off. So maybe Subhadra, we can start with you, that what were the extracurricular activities that you took in order to, help you receive an admit from the university?
Yeah, so basically what they're looking at is, if you have leadership skills, or if you, work good in a team. So something related to that, like I was a member of the career development cell in my college. So you get leadership skills from there, you get communications from there. And then I'm actively into sports. So I'm a tennis player and I also play badminton and table tennis. So I guess I, mentioned that in my resume. So, extracurriculars are very important because in US, they highly value these activities, because they want an all-round personality. Whereas in UK, like especially Oxford and Cambridge, they don't really care about extracurriculars. They are mostly focused on your academics. So other kind of extracurricular activities can be, you can be I am a Bharatanatyam dancer as well. Basically, extracurriculars just show that you are a very all-round person, and you can adjust well to different sorts of situations.
Awesome. So it's so interesting that a lot of people think that, they can't put anything on their this thing, and the extracurriculars do not always need to be about your field. I mean, sports is a huge thing in the US, and I know it. And Subhadra rightly said, since I've applied to universities in the UK, they're very academic based. They do not care about all the things you have done as long as you have got good GPA. So moving on to Anik, what is your thought, and what are some extracurriculars? And also, let me actually rephrase the question for you. You can talk about the extracurriculars, but was there anything different that you did on your profile? And you were obviously slightly late in the journey, but anything that you wanted to take up to make sure that, your application or your profile becomes all the more better?
And no such thing as in my extracurricular, I only had sports. So I used to play cricket and I continued with that. I'm a district level player, so that was that. Apart from that, I play table tennis, I play football, and I play guitar, and I read books in my free time. So that was all the extracurricular activities I had. And obviously I had office, so that was that. And
Yeah, not extracurricular exactly, but yeah, definitely something to occupy your time. Awesome. Great. So I'm just going to, guys, ask you, that was the last question from the audience. I'm just going to ask you one last question from my end, which I'm going to actually give you a couple of seconds to think about. So what would be your tip for all the students who are applying for fall and spring 2024? So something that you might have learned, or something that, your counselors or your Yorkit editors help you with, or something that you faced a challenge and then you learned something from it. So what would be your final, ultimate, biggest tip for all spring and fall 2024 aspirants sitting here? So maybe we can start with you, Subhadra. If you need a couple of seconds to actually gather your thought, that's completely fine.
So I have noted down some tips, there are several. So I keep repeating, I keep telling these things to my juniors as well, who have reached out to me for, applications. The most important thing is choose the university and the course according to you, not just because somebody else is going or somebody else has asked you to do it. Listen to your own heart. And see, there are two types of master's degree. One is a professional or a coursework based master's degree, and the other one is research based. So decide accordingly. And there is a difference in the duration as well. Mostly the professional or coursework based are 1 year, and research based are 2 years. So if you don't get a scholarship or like any funding, so you should decide accordingly whatever funds you have. So decide the type of MS according to your funding, according to your interest. And yes, check if GRE is needed in the universities you want to apply to before giving GRE, or else there's no use of the score. And talk to the seniors who are there, get to know, get some idea about how the university is, and get to know about their journey as well, because they will have a similar profile to you since they are from the same college. So talking to seniors helps a lot, and reach out to people who are currently studying there on LinkedIn. That is also very helpful. And yes, during your bachelor's, try to take courses and do projects which are relevant to the master's subjects, especially if you're switching fields. Make sure you have a project related to that, or you have taken courses or certifications related to that. That is very important, because it not only helps you getting the admit, but it helps you in the visa interview as well, because they will ask you, why are you changing the field? And if you have a work experience related to that field, then I don't think switching is a problem. So these were the few tips.
Awesome.
Just one more thing. If there is no GRE, make sure you have a good band in IELTS or a good score in TOEFL, because there has to be some quantitative thing that sets you apart from people. And yes, CGPA is very important. So on a scale of 4, according to US, at least have a 3. So which is above 8 in India.
I hope that everybody has noted this down. I am so sad that I wasn't able to, connect with you earlier. Otherwise, all of the information that you have said today. I would just have like quietly noted it down and used it for my application process. But nonetheless, I hope that it is, and I'm sure that it's going to be valuable for everybody. So moving on to Anik. So what would be your piece or your information? And what would be your tip and advice to all the students out here who are applying for spring and fall?
I don't think I have any more points to put after Subhadra's answer. So it was quite perfect. You should follow all those points. And yeah, one more thing, remember the deadline. Deadline is very important, guys. And see, there is a time difference between their time and our time. So make sure you calculate that and then you do whatever. Because once I could not apply to one college because of this problem. So make sure you don't have this problem. Try to apply 2 or 3 days early than the deadline. So that will be it.
Oh, yes. I think, Anik, you have faced the problem because I did too. I mean, I barely kind of got out of the problem for applying to university because they had mentioned some time and I forgot to check if it was in, UK time or it was in Indian time. So guys, do check that. This is coming from a very personal space also. Please check the time. Please make sure that all of your application process and all of your profile is actually very well rounded, as both Subhadra and Anik very rightly put today. And I thoroughly enjoyed today's session because we usually have, let's say, one student, but today having two of you here and hearing your perspective simultaneously, it was just a treat. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. And I hope you guys enjoyed it and have had fun with all of us answering all the questions. So I hope that you guys enjoyed your time here.
Yes, definitely. Because I just hope that whatever pieces of wisdom I have given today help somebody during their application procedure. And it's like deja vu because just a year back, I was one of the attendees and not the panelist. And some these these webinars are quite helpful while applying. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Awesome, and thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to host you. So Anik, I hope you also had fun, and yeah, I hope you had a great time here. That is something that I always want to make sure that all the people who are coming, not only attendees but our guests, also have a great time and also enjoy answering questions. So Anik, I hope you had a great time as well.
Yeah, it was a great time. Thank you, Yocket team, for helping me throughout this stressful period of my life, and it will help me in a lot good ways in the future as well. Thank you to that, and best of luck, guys. Be sure to apply in schools that you feel like you can get in. That's my last advice to you. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Anik. Thank you, Subhadra, and for everybody who attended here as well as on our streaming platform and YouTube. So thank you so much, guys, for attending. I wish you all the very best for your application process. For spring, the deadlines are actually going to close, not even open. Your deadlines are actually going to close in a couple of months. So make sure that you're moving forward. For all the fall 2024 aspirants, guys, aim for the December deadline. As Subhadra and Anik both mentioned, make sure that you're on top of your deadline. So go ahead, start preparing. And for Anik and Subhadra, I'm sure that you guys must be in your visa process right now. So I wish you all the very best for your visa process. And I know for a fact that you guys are going to ace your visa process. And I wish you all the very best for starting a new journey and starting a new chapter in a country like US with amazing universities that you're going to. So I wish you all the very best for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. And I hope you had a great time. We will be bringing you more such sessions very, very soon. So thank you, Anik. Thank you, Subhadra, for being a guest here at Yocket. And I hope you had a great time. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you again another time. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.